We're talking about dealing with pandemonium in your life, and especially in the month of Nissan, which is a month of miracles, how to use the pandemonium, right? To flip it, as it were, and instead of feeling that your life is falling apart, just the opposite. Feel like your life is coming together. That the pandemonium was sent to you. Express mail, which is actually pretty slow. Let's call it email or WhatsApp or however we get quick messages today. It's sent to you personally, signed, sealed, and delivered by Hashem Yisbarach himself in order to get you to come close to him. There's something we have to remember. The bigger the test is, the more difficult the test is, the more amuna a person can achieve. The more he is obligated to turn to Hashem. Obligated is not the right word. The more it's worthwhile to turn to Hashem and to see his hand in that situation. And the more you could grow from that situation. If Hashem is sending you tests which seem completely impossible, there is nothing that you could possibly do to help yourself under these circumstances, right? And we all know what these are. If it's dealing with somebody who's highly mentally complicated, yeah. If it's dealing with somebody with extremely bad midas, anger, other things, violence, screaming and yelling, using expletives, whatever it might be, right? Now, you don't necessarily have to stay in these relationships, yeah? That's a das Torah needs to get involved. But you have to understand while you're there, Hashem put you there. He wants you there under those. When you're there at that moment, that's where you are, right? It could be you could leave, and it could be you should leave, right? Or it could be maybe you should stay. This is a question for das Torah and for professionals. But when you're there at that moment, Hashem wants you to say, I understand it's pandemonium. I understand this is totally not the way life should be. But God, I accept it. You have sent me into this situation, and please help me. Please help me to stay sane. If you need to get out, please help me get out. And if you have to stay in, say, please help me deal with this situation. This is why you are there. This is the reason for it. Hashem wants to see how you will react under these circumstances. And we find the greatest moment, the most difficult challenge in Jewish history was when Avram Avinu, who was the quintessential man of chesed, right? The quintessential person of chesed, is asked to kill his son, something that he'd been fighting against his entire life. This one son that he had was going to be a progenitor of his world philosophy of monotheism. And Hashem says, go bring him as an oila. Go sacrifice him as an oila. This is shocking to Avram Avinu. So what does Avram Avinu say? Where do I go? Vayashkem Avram Baboker. Avram Avinu got up early and he saddled the donkey himself. And with complete calmness, he walked for 3 days until he got to Har Moriah, the place of the base of Mikdash, and he put Yitzhak on an altar, and he was ready to sacrifice him with complete calmness. This is the way a Jew is meant to deal with every single situation in life to his best of his ability, right? My close friend, Rabbi Hershkowitz, who put out many wonderful svarim, right, including one sefer which goes through the 10 tests of Avram Avinu, including the Akedah, and says every Jew goes through these 10 tests. Every Jew has to go through 10 tests. Every Jew has an Akedah Yitzchak. Yeah? Every Jew has an Akedah Yitzchak. And by the way, the Klosenberger Rav, right, lost 100 relatives in the Holocaust. He lost his parents, he lost his children, he lost his wife, he lost his aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters. Everybody was gone. And the Klosenberger once asked the question, right, why am I not greater than Avram Avinu? Avram Avinu had to sacrifice one child. I had to sacrifice 100 family members. Said the Klosenberger Rebbe, when the Torah writes that Avram loved Yitzchak, that was an infinite love, because everything in the Torah is infinite. And once the Torah writes that the love was infinite, it was an infinite love. Avram Avinu had to give up infinite love, which is impossible for a human being. The only way that Avram Avinu was able to deal with that Nisoyan was incredible siyata d'shmaya that he received from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we can all tap into that siyata d'shmaya, especially in the month of Nisan. Nisan is a miracle month. It's a miracle month. It's a month of miracles. And as we get closer and closer to the Seder, which is the ultimate miracle that the Jewish people have experienced. Zecher L'Yetzias Mitzrayim. So many miracles. We wear tzitzis. Zecher L'Yetzias Mitzrayim. We have tefillin. Zecher L'Yetzias Mitzrayim. On Seder night is the greatest Zecher L'Yetzias Mitzrayim of the whole year, is Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim, talking about the miracles. All of these mitzvahs, challenges, events are all to raise our emunah to the greatest level. Because this is the job of a Jew in this world, to come closer and closer to the Bari Olam through the tests that he has to go through. So Hashem should give us greatest Yad Shemaya to be successfully navigate these challenges and to go from height to height to heights to the greatest possible extent that we can. Hashem should help us and to guide us in these challenges. Amen.